Hey everyone, this is Keith Scott from out in Sydney, Australia. I'm one of the voices of Bullwinkle J. Moose. It's time to watch Relentless and Unstoppable. And so give it up for your main hosts, Douglas Kenny and Andy McPhee.
Hey everybody, this is Doug Kenny and welcome to Relentless and Unstoppable. We have another amazing guest coming on the channel today, so please hit like and subscribe. And after this episode, please stay tuned to the RNU channel for more amazing guests. Let's get this on!
Hey everybody, how you doing? Just a quick little share of why I started Relentless and Unstoppable. It was for one very simple reason, because of Doug Kenny. Nothing to do with me at all, zero. I was just coaching Doug, and he took on the coaching and mentoring, and he made all the changes. He took all the suggestions from his parents as well as my coaching, but it was all about Doug, his breakthrough and his weight loss, his willingness to accept that he is dealing with high functioning autism and other issues, but he's never quit, he's never given up. So we did one interview with him to share his story, and then we decided to start interviewing other people. And Doug has now taken over the whole channel, and he does all the interviews, he runs everything. He's just an amazing young man. So RNU was born from simply what an amazing young man Doug is, and his story needed to be shared.
It was a mind blower, because you're thinking to yourself, I will never take life for granted again.
Right.
You know? So
can I actually ask you a question, Doug?
About go ahead.
Achievement? So I know that when you attended in, I believe it was 2020, when we were in Arizona for the pageant, am I right?
2021 January.
Okay, when you came with Andy?
Uh-huh.
What was your I guess outlook as you were there, throughout the entire weekend, seeing really the pageant happen live? I mean, what was your take on it?
I was in awe. And Andy actually said this on another podcast we did on another person's show. There was a lot of work going on between me and him, because the thing is, back then I was sort of like Sid the Sloth from Ice Age. I was outgoing, I was extroverted, sometimes too extroverted for my own good. And so I had a hard time with boundaries back then, like knowing when it was appropriate to ask for pictures or when it was appropriate to go up to people to meet them, and there was a lot of work going on. When Andy asked Marlena if I could attend the pageant with him, as expected, she didn't know me, and so she was hesitant, but Andy promised her, that he would keep me on my best behavior during it, because the thing about Andy is, in a way, he's like a father figure to me, so
Absolutely.
So when he told me what to do and all that, I was able to get through it. I mean, I did have some close calls that made some people uncomfortable, but overall, I did so good. And by the end of the pageant, Marlena was very welcoming of me. She was just worried that, that since I didn't quite establish boundaries within myself and others yet, she was worried that I could potentially disrupt the pageant. But I didn't, thanks to Andy. I knew what to do. And Andy actually, while he was judging the pageant, he told me to sit in a certain place and film the pageant for Marlena as a surprise for her, which Marlena was very pleased to hear about.
Yeah, I remember, because I was not competing that year. I was there watching. I think my mom was giving up her title, so I was there, just helping behind the scenes. But I do remember you, getting to film quite a few of like the talent portion, the speech. So that's, the ladies love to be able to look back on the footage, and a lot of the times they'll watch back to see how they did and get some, tips if they ever want to compete again, or just kind of see how they did. Because for some of our ladies who come to the pageant, it's their first pageant experience, but also their first time really ever doing like a public speaking opportunity or talent. So it's way out of the box for some that come to compete.
It is. And it was a new thing for me as well. So, and the thing about the Woman of Achievement pageant was, you see, one of the things Andy told me during our mentorship was when it comes to film productions, for example, like what he does, you know, they're professional settings. You're not there to be when you're an actor, you're not there to be a fan. And, you know, when you're on a film set, you know, they don't allow you to take pictures or ask the actors for autographs. There will be a point where that can happen, you know, where it'll be appropriate. But often in the film industry, they don't do it at all, you know, just because they're worried that if that happens, it may break the concentration of the actor or just the people in general. And so when you're on a professional set in acting, you have to make sure that you're there for the reason that you're contracted to. And you have to make sure as well that you don't disrupt anything, because if you make mistakes, then they'll allow you to complete the film, but they wouldn't recommend that you come back into acting after that to other productions. They wouldn't recommend you. So what I'm getting at is with Woman of Achievement, for me, it was the same thing. I had to realize what people's boundaries were. And Andy taught me a lot about that. And he also taught me through that, you know, there's a time and a place where pictures and autographs or even taking videos of people are appropriate, or even chatting with people in general. And there was, because during the breaks, people spoke to each other. So Andy was teaching me throughout the entire pageant in 2021 on how to be extroverted without disrupting anything. You know what I mean?
Yes. So for you, I mean, it sounds like actually it was a very valuable, like social growth experience, which is, I never knew that. So that's really awesome to hear. Actually, I like that was your takeaway.
It was. And I could tell by the end of the pageant that I did the right thing, and that I was now trusted by Marlena, because by the time the 3 days were up, she looked at me and said, "Come on, Doug, let's get a picture together in front of the sign." And we did.
Yes.
So that's when I knew that I had established my credibility. And I would later use those same skills when I went to the pageant in January.
Definitely. And I think since then, you are, you know, we have our little Women of Achievement family. And I think you are definitely a part of that with us, Doug, in showing your support.
I'm proud to be part of it. You know, these women are just great. And what's really funny and ironic is, you know, when you're younger, when you're in school, there's always this boys versus girls debate, you know,
yes.
And it triggers children a lot of the time. But quite honestly, I think that there's a lot in women that men don't have sometimes. And vice versa, you know. I really believe that women should be treated on the same level as men. That's my opinion.
I think too, you know, not trying to get too heavily on, you know, social politics, all that stuff. But
yeah, of course.
I think now with the current times, we are definitely seeing that shift in the narrative of, you know, boys versus girls, as you said. And I think just with the advancements of like, just thinking about like women in STEM careers, women heading up corporations, CEOs, things like that. It's now kind of balanced. It's becoming more balanced in our society that women can do just as much as, you know, what it was thought once that only men could do. So that's something really powerful that as a teacher myself, I'm always reiterating to my girls that so as not to ever feel intimidated or that they cannot achieve whatever it is they want to set their mind to.
Yeah, for sure. And I must admit to you, without getting too much into politics, that some people some people I've encountered and shown the channel to and everything have called me woke. And I'm just going to assure you, I'm not woke. I just have morals.
It's funny. I was at a dinner last night with some of my coworkers, and one teacher that I work with mention, her daughter was kind of laughing with her about her using the word woke. So it's been like a word of the week type thing. So I'm laughing because I don't use it. I don't refer to myself like in that way either, but it is the slang, I guess, of our youth today, and like being aware of key issues and topics, I guess.
Yeah. But I'm not woke. I just have morals. And that's what I keep telling people,
Yeah. And I feel like that's a good way to put that in perspective, that, to me, that it kind of means the same. It means the same element, being woke and having the morals. That kind of balances each other out, I think.
Yeah, there's a difference, in my opinion, between wokeism and having morals,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Gee, that's all we have for Relentless and Unstoppable. So tune into the next episode to hear more amazing stories from amazing guests. This is Keith Scott from Sydney, Australia, saying so long, and I'm smarter than the average bear. Gee.